Welcome back to the channel today, guys, as we cover Danmachi Season 4, Part 2, Episode 3 today. What a mouthful. And let me tell you guys something. When the episode started today, and we got our very first scene, I was thinking to myself immediately, like, no. Are we doing this today? Am I about to be sad today? Is that going to be my day today? But we didn't. And I'm glad about that. In fact, I'd argue we had a pretty positive episode today. Honestly, all things considering. Because I was not expecting something to happen today that did. And I kind of like it, I gotta say. Some shenanigans. I definitely got to talk about some shenanigans that happened in the episode. That, I'll know about that. We'll get to that when we get to it. So let's just get into it today and talk about Danmachi. Again, Season 4, Part 2, Episode 3 today. So our episode today immediately begins with a flashback as we hear, "Hey, I didn't catch your name. What was it again?" And it's here we see a younger version of Ryu there, standing with a young woman as Ryu answers, "Ryu Leon." As the other girl tells her, "Ryu? That's kind of hard to pronounce." Kinda, sorta. I mean, I guess she's never played Street Fighter, obviously. As she says, "Okay, I got it. From now on, I'm going to call you Leon." And it's here in this moment, we see the beginning of a tragedy. But it's also here, we transition back to Bell and Ryu in their perilous or precarious situation. As Ryu says, "I gotta hold out for 5 minutes. If I don't give Bell a break now, he's going to fall apart, and we're both going to die. The walls are just beginning to repair themselves, which means monsters shouldn't spawn for a while. Futaba's my only weapon, and given the state of my leg, I'm not sure how well I can fight. She is very messed up. If she could even stand, that's impressive." And it's here she tells herself, as long as we manage to escape the deep floors, he's got a decent chance of survival. So until we reach the tunnel on the 36th floor, keep him alive, no matter the cost. And it's here as if to spit directly on her determination. We see the appearance of 3 more skull sheep, and Ryu, to say the least, is not ready to fight them. That being said, she can definitely defend herself as she takes one of her knives and throws it into the head of one of the skull sheep, killing them. As she's able to outmaneuver another one and stab it in the head as well. But it's here the third one gets the upper hand of her as it knocks the knife out of her hands and charges at her. And before she gets hit, we see another knife come and stab it in the head as we see that Bell is awake and he defeated it. As he says, "My 5 minutes was up." And as Bell gathers her 2 knives for her, he says, "It's your turn to get some sleep now, Ryu." As she says, "Thank you, Bell. I think I've reached my limit." But it's here as Ryu falls asleep. We transition to another flashback sequence. As we just hear, "Your captain's giving you important information and you're staring off into space? You've got some nerve, Missy." As Ryu says, "I'm sorry, Elise." As Elise tells her, "I guess I can let it slide." And it's here that Ryu realizes, oh, I'm dreaming. My memories of 5 years ago, of the Astrea Familia. And with this scene, I know immediately that we're going to get some sad episodes soon. And I guess I'm ready for them. Let's get them going. Let's get the tears flowing. Let's go. Let's get to it. Oh boy. But it's here we transition to a somewhat more positive scene, I suppose, as we transition back to Team Hestia, and we see the events unfold of the previous episode. Makoto's still drowning, getting eaten by monsters. Haruhime got blasted by the fire, and Aisha and Oka are enraged, fighting the Amphius Bena. As we see the rest of the party have to rush in because they're rushing in recklessly, so they're not really ready yet. And it's here we see one of the heads shoot its gas at the party as everyone dodges, but Oka gets hit directly with it. And when the gas clears, we see that the monster is gone, dived back underwater. And can I say, I kind of like all the nice panning shots they've done recently in this season. Really to show the size and scale of the battle. I kind of really like that because it looks nice. And as we see the monster swimming underwater, we just see everyone above ground trying to figure out exactly where it's going to come up. As all of a sudden it appears directly under Oka, sending this man flying across the room. But it's here that even after being tossed across the room like a doll, Oka gets up and starts walking towards the monster again. Grits his teeth and starts charging at him as he yells, "Come on, blacksmith, fire." "It'll be fine, just shoot," as we see a glow from under the water. Now, I wonder what that could be, guys. You know, it's escaping me right now. I couldn't fathom. As Well says, "Shut up, you don't tell me what to do, but I'm trusting you on this one." As he takes his magic sword and makes a giant pillar of ice into the ceiling so it comes crashing down on the monster as the monster shoots his gas up at it. And we have a beam struggle, as we'd say in DBZ, but with magic. As Well's magic sword finally shatters, but he had enough in it left to give Oka a foothold so he could get up and get an aerial perspective on the monster. And it's here Oka shouts, "Do it!" As we see that Makoto is alive under the water, drowning, getting eaten by monsters, but still chanting her one spell. As we see the water under the Amphius Bana glow a mysterious purple light. As Oka shouts, "Do it, Makoto!" And she uses her gravity magic and completely binds the Amphius Bana. As we see that the pressure is so strong that Makoto under the water is getting hit with this pressure, and the monsters that are biting her actually die in the process. As she says, "We can't lose. If I sacrifice my life, we can't lose," as she puts even more pressure on the creature. And it's here I gotta call shenanigans real quick, guys, because as Aisha's looking over at the fire, we see a figure there, and we see Haruhime is in the fire, apparently fine, for the most part. Not dead, at least. Like, I don't know about that. As Haruhime says, "My whole body feels like it's on fire. But I don't care. Let it burn to a crisp. So long as my song reaches their ears from the ashes." Which I gotta admit, that's a kind of cold line. That's a cold line, Haruhime just said. That was kind of cool. And as Haruhime is preparing her spell, Aisha immediately picks up on what she's doing as she starts charging towards the Amphius Bana. And as we transition back to Oka as he's on top of the vines, we get a kind of cool scene actually, where he jumps down and uses the gravity to make his attack stronger and actually cut off one of the Amphius Bana's heads, which is actually a pretty smart idea. And it's here as Haruhime finishes her level up spell. She hits Aisha with it as Aisha charges at the Amphius Bana, going through its fire with her Hell's Kaios and sets it ablaze. As the creature screams out in agony and actually dies. They actually win. Right here. Kind of wild. And afterwards, I'ma be real. We get this really dope shot of Aisha just walking with fire just sitting on her as she dumps the water on herself to cool her off. I kind of really like that. That's kind of saucy. I like that a lot. And I gotta say immediately, I'm surprised they beat it already. I really am. But at the same time, I'm glad. I'm glad this wasn't happening for the entire season. That was my fear. That we were just going to go back and forth between Bell and Ryu and them fighting the Amphius Bana. And that was just going to be for the whole season. And then at the end, they would converge together. I was afraid that that would happen. But to see them defeat it in, 3 episodes? That's kind of surprising. And with no help. It really shows how much all of them have grown. Like, this is a pretty big achievement, I would imagine. Now we have more time in the season to do really sad flashbacks. It's gonna happen. I know it is. And I gotta prepare for it. And it's here we see Haruhime collapse into Aisha's arms as Aisha says, "You're all grown up now, aren't you, you silly little fox?" And at this point, I would definitely say yes, she did. And it's here we see that Makoto is okay too. Someone finally got her out the water and didn't just leave her there. And it's here things are looking good as they defeated the Amphius Bana and no one died, which is kind of surprising actually. As the Lily says, we did it! We defeated a floor boss on our own! Again, a pretty big achievement. As Aisha says, nice work everyone, but we're not out the woods yet. We're still kind of down here, you know. And it's here as Lily finds a rare drop of a super rare dragon liver. Everything looks like it's going up and things are turning around, right? But I hate to break it to you guys, reality is a cruel mistress. As all of a sudden, everything starts shaking. The ground shakes and everyone's panicking as we see the ceiling starts crumbling down around them. And as Aisha looks up, she sees these adventurers running across the line, the vines, as she says, is that Turk? But they're irrelevant as Aisha realizes there must be a way to access the 24th floor via the tree roots. Let's follow their lead and bail. As Cassandra thinks to herself, no, it's not over. We're still in the middle of my premonition right now. The cage of despair shall become a coffin, and thou shalt suffer. The light thou seeketh is the life-giving sun, for there is no other. As she drops to her knees and panics again, but all of a sudden realizes, like, wait, the life-giving sun. And it's here as we transition to Lily, she says, wait, Aisha, Belle's still here, we can't leave. As Aisha's just like, are you freaking kidding me? Have you taken a look around here lately? But Lily says, wait, there's a tunnel to the 26th floor. All those tremors must have unblocked the entrance. As Oka says, wait, you want us to go deeper into the dungeon? But here Welf backs Lily up and says, I agree with Little Squeak. We can't leave until we rescue Belle. Aisha's just like, have you lost your mind? Haruhime and Makoto can't even walk right now. But it's here Haruhime says, I'll be fine. I want to go find Belle. But Daphne starts freaking out and says, we don't have time to argue the pros and cons. We have to get up there now. But it's here Cassandra says, no, we need to move east. Head down to the 26th floor, quickly. As she says, you're wrong, Daphne. I was wrong. As she says, the life-giving sun. When the sun vanishes, it reappears as a sunrise. So, the life-giving sun was referring to a direction, not a person or a time of day. In order to avoid death, we have to follow the life-giving sun. To the east. Now let's head to the 26th floor. But it's here Cassandra screams, stop it. Enough is enough. We're in the middle of a crisis and you're still talking nonsense. To hell with your vision. Our lives are at stake. I say we go up. We should climb our way to the 24th floor. Now you guys know I've been ragging on Daphne for not listening to Cassandra over the course of the season, which I think is dumb. I think it's actually dumb. In this instance, I do get it more because if, with no context, what she just said sounds kind of crazy. Let's be real. With no context, it sounds crazy. But it's understandable in this situation. But it's here we hear Cassandra say, how many times have I felt weak and powerless? Daphne's always doubted my premonitions. She's never once believed me. As she yells, listen to me, Daphne. I was constantly running away, just by letting myself be afraid. I was in pain. I was in torture. Nobody ever believed me, and I didn't want to get hurt anymore. But I can't stand here and watch my friends die. If I run now, I'll lose any reason I ever had to go on living. And it's here we see a giant crystal fall from the ceiling. And Cassandra just lets it fall straight in front of her. Kind of a G moment, I'll be honest. That was kind of dope. I'll give her some props for that. That was cool. As she says, if there was ever a time to listen to me, it's now. So please, just trust me, Daphne. As Daphne says, no one would be stupid enough to believe something like that. But then she immediately says, change of plans. Go east. Head for the tunnel to the 26th floor. as she grabs Cassandra's hand and starts running as she says, "I don't trust your ridiculous visions or whatever you call them. But what I do trust is you, Cassandra." And it's here with everybody on board. They all make a mad sprint towards the 26th floor. And we actually see Turk and his little jabronis falling to their death. And it's pretty satisfying, I gotta be honest. They sucked. And it's here as they all make it into the entrance. We see the ceiling collapse around them, trapping them in there, but they are safe. As Jagusa says, if we had tried to climb back up to the 24th floor, we'd probably be dead right now. As Daphne's just like, "Cassandra, I guess you saved our lives there." The power of tsundere, everybody. Very strong. As Welf says, "Okay then, now that we've come this far, there's no turning back until we track down Bell." And our episode ends with us seeing them marching their way to go find him. And probably the Juggernaut too. So that's gonna be something. And again, I gotta say, I didn't expect them to actually beat the Amphias Bana already. But I'm very glad they did. Because now I'm very curious to see how this is gonna play out. Are they gonna come and rescue Bell? They had a miraculous win against the Amphias Bana, but there's no conceivable way. I will call full shenanigans if they are able to beat the Juggernaut. There is no way. There's no way that should be the case. So I'm very curious to see where we go from here now that one side of the party is safe-ish for right now. So you guys let me know what you thought of this episode down below. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day. I'll see you guys next time.